episode of Jay Leno's Garage. The car in front of me appears to be, what, maybe a 1964 Honda 600. You know my Honda 600. Here, take a look. This one looks a little rougher, but this is California hot rodding at its best. This is the kind of thing I think is really cool. You know, we always talk about the more money than brains club. This is the more brains than money club. This is taking a car that was essentially abandoned, had no motor in it, modifying it, making it into a practical, fun vehicle. It's actually faster, stops better, and handles better than the original. And this is built by Matt Brown. Matt, come on in. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you. I saw Matt up at the Rock Store. That's a place where motorcyclists kind of hang out, and it intrigued me because I have one of these, and they're pretty rare. So what happened? Was it a Craigslist ad? Did you see it by the side of the road?
It was posted on a forum, and I've kind of always loved this car. Some guy that bought it to fix it up and didn't have time, and then sold it, and it didn't have an engine, and I thought, that's perfect. I'm gonna put a 1-liter sport bike engine in it.
Okay, now what engine do you have in it?
It's a 2007 CBR 1000RR.
Okay, now the original engine, of course, was 600 cc's and a little jewel of a motor. I mean, twin overhead cam, roller bearing crank. I always said if it said Porsche on it instead of Honda, it would have been worth a fortune. And it had a 9,500 RPM redline back in 1964. But it was only 600 cc's, about half the size of this. So obviously this is going to fly. What transmission are you using?
It's the stock motorcycle transmission. I've got an adapter going to a BMW 2-piece drive shaft, back to a BMW diff, adapted to Miata half shafts. I've got all Miata outboard, Miata brakes.
Okay, so obviously you've done away with the chain drive.
Yeah. It's a cool design, but it's just not really built to kind of do the canyon carving stuff that I wanted to do with it.
Do you still have those pieces?
I don't know. I got rid of them.
You got rid of them?
I got rid of them.
You didn't throw them away?
I did. There's no market for used parts for this car.
Yes, there is.
Nah.
You never throw anything away. You're like my wife. You don't throw stuff away.
I had them for sale for several months, and nobody wanted them. Yeah,
my friend Brian Baker would have bought them. Yeah. He was interested in it. So basically, it's just the stock body. Obviously, tires are way wider than stock.
A little bit, yeah. Almost nothing stock except for the windshield and the body, and the taillights, I think.
So it's safe to say you're not a body and cosmetics man.
You know, my original plan with this was to kind of upgrade all the the under the hood stuff and the frame and the suspension and everything, and then try to make the exterior look stock.
Right.
But I got this far, and I kind of like the way it looks. So I think
I like the sort of rat rod.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a kid, hot rods were 32 Fords or 57 Chevys or whatever. And then, of course, as things move on, this is before there were any Japanese cars, really. And now I love the fact that you take Japanese cars and you hot rod them. I mean, I think this would be a huge hit in Japan. I think some of the hot rod guys over there would just go nuts to see this because you've got, how many horsepower? 160?
About 160.
160. You got 3 times just about the stock horsepower. And you have nitrous in it too?
I've got nitrous. Why not?
And it's a right-hand drive. I wonder, do you ever know where the car came from? Obviously, it might have been Canadian, because he was never imported here.
No, I don't. I didn't. I did a little bit of research on it and couldn't find anything. I got as far back as it was in San Francisco like 30 years ago, but
yeah,
who knows?
Can we open the hood?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see what we got. Did you have the hood on it when I saw it?
I believe so, yeah. I had it up, but yeah.
Oh, okay, that's why. Boy, there's a wiring job, huh? Boy, that couldn't get more Italian looking than that. Look at that.
Yeah, I got the stock motorcycle wiring harness on there, so I didn't bother to shorten it or clean it up. I just kind of crammed it in there.
Yeah. No, that's okay. And a little oversized radiator, certainly bigger than was ever on the bike. So it's got to cool it pretty nice, huh?
Yeah, this is a lot of found parts and cheap parts. So that I found a radiator that was really cheap that was about another third, again, taller than that, and I just chopped it off and welded some caps on.
Well, that's what I like. I like that hot rodding sort of idea. You know, you go to junkyard, you get the LaSalle transmission and the Gimmer steering box off some of the early cars. That's what they did back in my day. And this is basically the same thing, just using aftermarket Japanese or American parts. Oh, that's not a junkyard radiator. It looks like one you
it's
got.
new.
Yeah. Okay. And this is the fuel tank right here?
Fuel tank, custom fuel tank, water jetted out, bent it up, welded it together.
Oh, wow, look at the suspension. Look at that.
Yeah,
Pretty neat. And what is this off of?
The rear shocks are from the rear shocks on a Yamaha R1, and the front are off a R6. Okay. So this car is more motorcycle than car.
Right. Okay. The gauge package, what do we have there?
That's straight off the Honda motorcycle.
Now, when you go on a date in this car, do women go, oh,
I've never taken a woman on a date in this car. I don't.
Boy, that's a true car guy.
This car is very polarizing. People love it or they hate it, and it pretty much falls along gender
No,
lines.
who hates it? Why would they hate it? Because it's not stock, you mean?
It's fun to drive around, and I get scowls from the soccer moms and these nods of approval from the soccer dads. You know?
Oh, okay.
So
And I love this. You water jetted this, a Honda
Yeah.
S1000. So that must make people think, what? 'Cause
Yeah.
they did do an 800.
They did.
And what happens when we open the trunk? Is there even anything in here?
Yeah, there's a
Oh, the big
nitrous
yeah.
bottle. Yeah.
Oh, a big nitrous bottle. There you go. And you can get to your end very easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to put anything in the trunk.
No, I don't. Not a very useful trunk.
So how do you like the motorcycle engine in it? Is it peaky, or you're always running 11 grand all the time?
Yeah, it doesn't. You kind of have to keep it above 4.
Yeah, yeah.
And it doesn't really have anything below about 7.5.
But that's the same with the stock car. I mean, the stock car had nothing below
yeah.
4. You
Yeah.
know, it just. And you know, being so used to American engines, when you're on the freeway and you're at 7,500 at like 65 miles an hour, the engine's screaming. But that's what it wants to do. That's where it lives.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, but in my mind, you're always thinking, oh, I got to get the revs down. But then you're lugging it, so
Yeah.
you just have to get used to it. This is really California hot rodding. That's what I love. It's all essentially, quote, junkyard parts. Where'd the bike come from?
I just got the engine on eBay, some wrecked bike.
Okay. So you look specifically for this motor. Why?
I wanted a Honda,
Right.
and I almost did the 600RR to keep it a 600, but I just really wanted the extra power. And I got this year because the 06 and 07s are a little less power than the later ones, and the later ones are a lot more expensive because people put them in mini sprints and stuff like that.
Right, right.
So I got this whole thing, wiring harness and everything, for $1,000, and you can get them for $1,000 all day long. So
So how much do you think you have in this car? Under 10,000?
oh, under 10 for sure.
Yeah, that's great.
Probably closer to 5. I mean, I fabricated everything. Like
Yeah.
everything that could be fabricated, I fabricated, and everything that could be bought, I got, you know, pretty cheap on Craigslist or eBay or something. So
And like the roll bar, I just care about my head, not
Yeah.
the passengers.
I've actually I made a roll bar for the passenger side, but I didn't like the way it looked, so I took it off. So.
Cool. I think it's time to take it for a ride. Can we take it out?
Absolutely.
Let's do it. That's great. How many streetcars rev to 12 grand? When you get too old to ride the motorcycle, just put it in the car. I like the cutaway hood.
Yeah, I couldn't get a big enough airbox, so I thought, whatever, I'll just cut a hole in it.
The Japanese mirrors out on the fender. I love the gearbox.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably my favorite part.
Well, it's a lot of fun to drive. Is that your first time in the passenger seat?
Yeah.
Did you see my little rocket car? The red one?
Yeah, yeah.
You ever seen one of those?
No.
That was designed by Gordon Murray.
Oh, no kidding.
775 pounds, 147 horsepower, 12 speed, 6
Whoa.
high, 6 low. You got the Yamaha gearbox going through a Weissman 6 speed. So you got a 6 speed high and 6 speed low. It's half the weight of this.
Yeah. Same horsepower. Was it a snowmobile engine?
No, Yamaha Genesis 5 valve, 1000 cc. It's so compliant. I mean, Gordon Murray really did his homework.
I would hope, yeah. Gordon Murray, he knows his stuff.
That was his first road car. I think it's the only one in the U.S. price as a Porsche. So what are you going to get? But I like that. 775 pounds and it's not even carbon fiber. I love this thing. Goes terrific.
Don't be afraid to use the brakes. This thing has the best brakes of any vehicle I've ever driven.
Yeah. Nice to drive. Makes all the right noises. It'd be hard going on a date in this car.
It would be.
What's your regular car?
Well, right now I have a minivan, but I used to have a Dodge Viper that I just got rid of. And then a Mini Cooper.
Oh, very nice. I've seen the little Mini Coopers with motorcycle motors in them.
I saw your video with the guy that had the engine in the front and the back.
Oh, the twin,
That was cool,
yeah. That was cool, wasn't it?
That was cool.
Not temperamental at all, is it? How many miles on this motor?
Oh, I don't know. I bought the dash at like 38,000 probably. I think the bike had something like 5 when I bought it, and I probably put another 1 on it, so maybe 6,000.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Well, how much fun can you have for less than $10,000? That's pretty amazing. Let's take it up and we'll, we haven't hit the nitrous yet, have we?
No, we haven't.
Well, let's hit the nitrous on the freeway ramp and see what she does. I love this thing. Fantastic. Really good. Well, you can feel when it comes on, can't you? Just screams. Makes the best noise.
Yeah. That's my favorite part about this car is the noise.
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's California hot rodding at its best. You know, it's really fun and really just a little skill and engineering, and for under 10 grand you've got, it's a great sports it's a great sports car to drive. It's as much fun as anything I've driven in a long time. Revs to 12,000 RPM. Matt, really terrific job. It's really fun to see. I mean, it's fun to do the expensive stuff, but the creative stuff, sometimes money ruins creativity, and this is a classic example of that. Just really creative thinking and just interesting using Miata parts and other parts, and plus it's the modern interpretation of the old California hot rodding. You know, there aren't any 32 Fords around anymore, but there's plenty of old junky Japanese cars. I mean, you could do this with a Sprite or an MG or any of those cars. Put motorcycle engines are reasonably cheap to get. Like you said, he built the whole car for under 10 grand. Matt, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
A lot of fun.
It was
See
a
you
blast.
guys next week.
Mm-hmm.